Megan Liana here of Grown Folks Table Radio here at the place with the one and only Red Grant.
Yeah, Gap Chief Bandit.
How you doing?
I'm good, Meg. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for allowing Grown Folks Table Radio to come to this table. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I had to bring you to the place, the place to be, the place to shop, the place to go in Vegas. The hottest store in America right now, over 4,000 square feet of merchandise, apparel, and different knickknacks. We got art in here. We got things you would not normally get. We got gifts from Snoop Dogg. We got gifts from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
It's
we
a
got
whole vibe
gifts
in here.
Flavor Flav, and it's just gifts from Tiffany Haddish and more.
Dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, we're gonna take it back to 1996. 23 years ago.
When I started?
When you started, we got to talk about the journey. So, you started in 96 at New York's Apollo Theater, right?
Well, it wasn't really at New York Apollo Theater. That's what people get it. I did Apollo like a short time after that, but I actually started in Washington, D.C. at a club called Mr. Henry's.
Okay.
It was an open mic club, and my partners used to be like, man, you should go on stage, man. You're funny. It'd be good for you to, tell jokes. And I was a hothead at the time. I had just got out of some trouble.
Okay.
And I was just like, all right, I'll do it on some jokey joke type of situation. And I didn't get booed that night.
You didn't get booed that night?
No, I didn't get booed at all.
Did you get booed later?
I mean, I've been booed before.
Okay.
I've definitely been booed before. But that night I didn't get booed, and I just like, okay, they ain't boo me, maybe I'll just keep it going. But I worked, and like 6 months later, this guy named Bob Sumner found me, and he happened to be Russell Simmons' right-hand man.
Okay.
And he put me on Def Comedy Jam first, and I did Def Comedy Jam in the Apollo that same weekend.
Dope. Okay, so how have you been able to stay in the game for 23 years? Because that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a long time.
I mean, if you start when you're 19 years old, it's kind of easier. If I would have started at 30, I probably wouldn't be able to handle it. But I was 19 years old, and I was, it's always been, this career has been fun because I started so young. I couldn't even get in the club. Me and Dave Chappelle had to have somebody walk us in the club.
Damn, you had to have a
chaperone.
A chaperone.
A chaperone.
Were you able to sneak liquor or not?
No, I wasn't even drinking right then. I didn't drink at all. I'm not even really a heavy drinker at all anyway. But at that time, just to get in the clubs and to see all these older guys and grown folks telling jokes, it was kind of fun, just to get in the club.
Right.
And then Washington, D.C. is a great city to be from because it is like the hub of comedy.
Okay.
You got Dave Chappelle, you got Martin Lawrence, you got Tommy Davidson, myself, Donnell Rollins. It's just so many.
A lot of greats.
Yeah, it's a lot of greats to come from that whole city of D.C.
Okay, so now you were doing comedy, and then in 2000 you wrote and produced Family Reunion, the movie.
Yep.
What was it that made you want to step behind the scenes and create a movie?
Well, when I did Teen Summit, a little bit after I did Def Jam and Apollo,
Okay.
and Renee Turner, she called me, and I can remember the episode. It was me, Monique, this comedian named Small Fry, and Tracy Morgan. We were all on the show, and they called me back about 2 weeks later. They was like, "We love your personality. Would you like to be a part of the Teen Summit family?" I was like, "Yeah." They said, "Well, you're gonna have to move to New York. And you're gonna have to produce the show. You're gonna have to be a host on the show, and you're gonna have to write the stories. Can you handle that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can handle it. I ain't know nothing about writing. I probably was the worst writer in the world. I definitely didn't know about producing, and I definitely didn't know about what to do with a camera crew. But it was an opportunity that was put in front of me, and I was like, yeah." So I lived in New York, working for Teen Summit I lived there 5 years. I worked for Teen Summit for 3 years. And they ended up letting me host Teen Summit, and there was a whole lot of incredible things that BET allowed me to do. But I learned how to produce shows when I was working on that show, and I was like, man, this is something that's crazy, So when I did Family Reunion, I had already been a part of producing shows for BET, so it was kind of fun for me.
Right. So when you got the offer to produce and to work on Teen Summit and you had never experienced that before, because a lot of times when you get this opportunity, a lot of people be like, nah, I never did that. I'm scared.
Right.
Fuck that. How did you be like, I'm going for it? Yeah, I could do it.
I just think youth just makes you do a little different. Than, like, I didn't want to be in D.C. anymore. I mean, not that I didn't love my city. I just thought I saw opportunity. You know, either I'm going to stay in the city and get in trouble, or I'm going to move to New York and live above a bodega. And I chose living above a bodega, you know, and finding stories. And my first story I did was on Kool Herc. And he's like the founder of hip hop.
Right.
And a buddy of mine named Danny knew Kool Herc, so I went up to the Bronx and I interviewed Kool Herc, and that was like the coolest thing in the world because like, him being the founder of hip hop was like my first story was on the founder of hip hop.
Right.
And they ran it, and it got rave reviews, and it was just cool.
Okay. So, in an industry where some say that it's very limited opportunity, especially for Black comedians, how do you kind of sustain and like find your own lane? Is it just through those past connections, or is it just the work ethic that keeps it going?
I think it's like all of it. I think, you know, you have to like have the work ethic to be able to maintain it, because the career itself is not easy.
Right.
You know, you gotta be able to stay ahead of the game. You gotta be able to write. You gotta be able to be creative. You gotta be able to be new, fresh. You gotta stay with the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta stay with the culture. You can't, you can't get, away from the culture. And every year, as you know, the culture changes.
Right.
You know,
technology changes.
Everything. You
right.
know what I mean? When I started, it was barely even those little pages the sky pages that you put
right.
together with each other. So but I think comedy was for me.
Okay.
I wanted to be a singer. Everybody got a dream of being something. I wanted to be an R&B artist.
Okay.
But comedy was what he had for me. Right. And now when I hear people laugh, I just it's incredible. It's incredible.
Okay. So you come from like old school comedy, I like to say, where it was like there was no rules. You could say what you want, do what you want, and we didn't have that like cancel politically correct culture.
Right.
And now everything is so strict. It takes away from a comedian's art. How do you find balance in this new cancel culture when you come from a time where you didn't have that?
I just think, it really hasn't canceled. You really can talk about every subject in the world. It's just how you talk about it.
Right.
Like, I've never been a person to really like take jabs at people in the audience, or if you were gay, I didn't really like, oh, look at this gay ass, you know what I'm saying? Or if you was black, look at this Tarvin, look at this light skin,
right.
Look at this white person. Or I've never been that type of comedian, so it's kind of easier for me because I really talk about my own life.
Okay.
And I think if you base your comedy around like you, then it becomes funnier. Like, yeah, I grew up with a dude named Timmy who was gay. You know what I mean? And I didn't even understand what gay was until I got bigger, and I was like, damn, Timmy was gay.
Right.
You feel me? So
right.
And things like being able to touch on your own life, my wife, my kids. Me partying, what you see in the clubs, what you see in the street, how people really act. I try to base my comedy around, reality, like the real stuff, like, people breath stink, it really stinks. You know what I mean?
Right. So here's a question though, because even with some comedians, they get in trouble for making jokes about their own family. Right. You know what I mean? So do you have a joke where you think like from 20 years ago, if you told it now, they'd be like,
oh yeah, people always say, man, Reg, you should pull back some of them jokes.
Right.
That they haven't even seen. I was like, yeah, I could. Yeah, it wouldn't be offensive or anything. It would just be super hilarious, and I probably would develop it more.
Right.
But it would be super hilarious. The person who really don't like my jokes, when I tell them to them the first time, is my wife. She never thinks anything I say about her is funny. I say, if she don't laugh, I know I'm gonna put it on stage.
Okay, but if she does laugh, then it's like, hell no.
Hell no, that joke is out of here.
That means it was too easy.
It was way too easy.
Okay, so a little more on the journey. So you ended up in New York Teen Summit. You were there for a while.
Yeah.
Then eventually you went to Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, after I made that movie, Family Reunion, I was like, it's time to move. So I made, I did Def Jam again in 2006.
When they brought it back.
So when they brought it back, I went out there and I was like, okay, it's a good time to see if I can move out here. And a partner of mine named Zuman was living in LA at the time. So he invited me out there. I stayed out there for like 2 weeks. I told him when I come back, I'm gonna give me an apartment or something. He picked me up from the airport, and he was like, "You ready to go to my crib?" I was like, "Man, I already got a crib." So after that, I just stayed out LA. I just, doused myself into LA in like 2008. Like, and I didn't look back. I just said, I'm not going back to the East Coast right now. Even though I love the East Coast, it was just like the move from DC to New York,
Right.
move from New York to LA, and they accepted me big time in LA.
Right, because it's a huge comedy. Like, it's weird. I thought that like LA was like that comedy hub because there's like the Improv and all the other.
Well, the craziest thing, like I moved right into like an area where it was gangbanging, and I didn't even know it was gangbanging.
Okay, what part? Because I'm from LA, so what's
Okay, so I moved into the Mansfield area first.
Shit.
The whole apartment. Me and Mike.
You was in the hood.
Me and Mike Epps was in this apartment, and we lived together for a few years. And my next move was I looked at a article in the paper. They was like house for rent. I was like, oh, this seems nice. This is 4-bedroom. Only one person. They want renters. Yeah, we should move over there. This is right on 54th and Bryanhurst. I moved right into the 60s.
Oh, damn.
So I went from Mansfield to the 60s, and it's crazy because in my spirit it never was bad over there.
Right.
Because I don't know, because when you come from DC, it's just as rough as anything else. But they accepted me, and they bigged me up, and I used to see Nipsey Hussle like on the block, like selling his CDs.
Yeah.
Like he was young, but he was selling CDs on the corner of Slauson and Mansfield, and I was like, oh, this young boy, he always selling his CDs, and he just happened to grow up to be Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, I grew up off of Slauson and La Brea.
So
that's right over there.
Yes.
So I'm very familiar with what he did in the neighborhood. We're from LA. Now you're in Vegas.
Yeah.
And we're at the place. What brought you to the journey here?
Well, my wife's cousin is like a leasing manager here at the mall. But before he became a leasing manager, he used to always bring me over to this mall and be like, y'all should come over here, y'all should get a place over here, whatever. So, it was years ago. I was like, and every year he'd be saying, y'all should come over here. So last year he approached me and he showed me this one spot, and I was like, And I told my partner Percy, because me and Percy, we got a golf beef together. We got a couple other businesses together that do very well, and I was like, man, we should, I want you to meet me at the mall, see this place, see if you like it, we might can open a clothing store. He's like, all right, I'll meet you over there. He met me here, and they showed me this, and when I walked in, I was like, the energy was just right.
Okay.
And they was telling me about the history of this place and who was here before and how they, how they made, things happen. And as you can hear, like the trains and all, it's just an energy about this mall. And this mall had gotten a bad reputation, like in the Vegas area. And they put a lot of money and energy into it. So we said, man, let's do it. And we're gonna bring some superstars over here.
Okay.
And we started bringing stars over here for one, Tiffany Haddish did her book signing. Ray J did his Raycon announcements and his Scooty bikes, and of course Bone Thugs and Harmony and Flav and Ja Rule, and I mean you can go down a list of people who've been over to this spot, and it's just an incredible experience.
So was that experience you're creating, was that like the vision behind, where culture meets fashion?
Yeah, we had that vision of bringing our friends to this, where the fans can come and shop with their the people that they love.
Right.
You know, because you can't go nowhere else, and you can party in here.
Right.
So we play our music. I know they think we play it too loud, but we boom our music, you know, and we just, you know, we keep it lively in here.
Okay, so you're very accessible to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with Nipsey Hussle's passing, there's been this debate about being too accessible to everybody. What is it that inspires you to still be reached by, you know, your fans and people who want to talk to you and meet with, you know, your friends and stuff?
I think it's similar to Nipsey, you know, man. Nip had that heart, like, you know, I'm still trusting people. He knew where he was at. He knew where he came from. He knew the dangers of what can happen, you know, but, you know, when God give you a mission,
right,
you know, you just take on that mission, you know. I really don't think about the bad things that could happen. I always just think about the good things that we can do while we're here. So, you know, I'm accessible because I want to be.
okay,
I'm accessible because I think the people deserve it. Like the kids come over here on Sunday and open mics, and we found so many people. Like even the person that's shooting this right now is one incredible comedian, and also camera person, and also photographer, and you know Andy Faye. You're just like certain people that you just meet,
right,
and you know, it's so much talent that comes through this place.
right,
Like I mean, from 10-year-olds to all the way to 60-year-olds
right,
come in this place and they perform on this green carpet, what we call, and they give it to them. And I pick 2 people every month to be a part of my first Monday comedy show, and it's always lit.
okay. So why do you care about, you know, helping the culture in the next generation? Because a lot of people, it's kind of, you know, we live in like a me generation where it's like, look, I got mine. Like, you know, so what is it that inspires you to keep this place going so you can, you know, meet those 10-year-olds and those talented people and bring them on to your first Mondays?
You want my honest answer?
Honest, we get real and raw here.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really don't know.
Okay.
I think I'm being guided.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think I was a young kid in a community with a single mother, and I probably didn't have the opportunities that some people had, and the opportunities when I ain't had no clothes, like to wear, or I would wear the same clothes for like 3-4 days straight. I always wished I had more.
Right.
You know, and when people turn me on to new things, and I just feel like what you're exposed to, the only way to get those exposures out of your head is to be able to be exposed to other things.
Right.
So right now, I've been exposed to so many things because somebody gave me an opportunity to be exposed to them. And now I got different pictures in my head.
Right.
So I just think the more pictures you got in your head, the more your heart opens up to, if you care, to help people see more pictures.
Right.
You know, because if you don't turn them on to no more pictures, they just see them one pictures. They just see bad,
Right.
or crime.
And they get stuck.
Yeah, or negativity, or anger. You know, those are some of the emotions that I'm just trying to fix in people. Because I used to be angry.
Right.
I used to be emotional. I used to be mad, violent, and you know, when I became more of a humble individual, I didn't want to be violent. I didn't want to be mad and emotional all the time. So I think I'm being guided. You know, like I'm running for mayor of DC right now, and they ask me why am I running for mayor of DC, and I'm like, because I want to change something. And they be like, well, what you want to change? And I'll be like, I want to change the way kids see things. I want to help elderly people. I don't want to turn my back on homeless people, because a lot of those homeless people are veterans and people who fought in our wars and all of that,
Right.
and they get looked down on and all of that. And I want to make an economy that's a little better for people, and I want people to be united, like as human beings. And they say, well, what are you, Red? I'll be like, I'm a humanitarian now. You know, so
Right.
I just think I just care about the humanality of a person now.
Okay. That's dope. So, more about on the reflecting side of things. What was the point in your life where you realized, like, you actually thought you were grown and now you're really grown?
Jeez. So I got my first piece of Kalukaluk.
That's
No,
what we
when I
call
was
it.
14.
Okay.
And she know who she was. Shonda Cummings.
We said the name.
That was my first piece of Kalukaluk. Her name was Shonda Cummings, and it so happened to be Cummings. I came. I did.
Right.
I thought I was peeing, but it was cum. And I had a kid when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So even though I was still a kid, I was like, I had to grow up a little quicker. Then when I went to college, I felt like I was growing.
Right.
But I still was, you 17, you think you the stuff,
Right.
You think you grown because your mother and them let you out the house.
Right.
But I did say to myself, I'm never going back home after that. Like some people, like they go back and live with their parents and all that. I can't. Me and my mother in the same house don't get along. I love my mother to death, but she made her kids leave.
Okay.
You're not gonna stay around here. You're not gonna just be laying around here. You're gonna get a job. She was one of the parents.
That's so nice. Look, I got one of them. Mom, come back anytime. It's always open.
My mom was like, get your ass to work at 13.
Woo.
Me and my sister used to work hard at 13, and but it now look at me. I work hard
Right.
still.
Right.
And I told her that the other day. I told my mother, I said, thanks for like pushing me to do work hard.
Right.
Because people be like, Ray, how you doing this? I'll be like, I don't know. I've been trained. It's like
It's
a military.
in me.
It's like a military dude. Shoot, I can't hold my breath underwater like a seal, but if you train me long enough, I could be a seal.
Right. Okay, so I have this thing where I like to measure the fucks that we give as we get older because
Okay.
I feel like from every 5 years, I feel like your fucks change
Okay.
on what you don't give a fuck about to what you do give a fuck about.
Okay.
Like this spectrum is forever transitioning, right?
Okay.
So, do you feel that from 30s to 40s that the things that you once gave a fuck about, you don't, and there was a reversal to where things that maybe you didn't give a fuck about, you care more about now?
Damn, yeah. I mean, like I used to give a fuck about having a lot of girls. That was the shit. I thought
Right.
having a lot of girls was that's a give a fuck type of thing.
Right.
Now they don't give us a fuck. I gives a fuck. I'm married. I'm comfortable with being married. I'm cool on that.
Right.
I used to give a fuck about money. Now, money is just like, it ain't a priority. Like it comes every time you do a show or every time you make a sale or it comes. But the people who walk around and give a fuck too much about money usually are stressed out
Right.
about stuff, and no matter how much money they make, they still don't make enough for their satisfy.
Right.
Them. So I used to give a fuck about what people said about me, but I don't give a fuck now. I don't. I mean, it's just I'm learning that you can't stop what people hate is.
Right.
And you can try to be like, I don't know, but now you fall into the hate.
That energy
It just
sucks you in.
It sucks you in.
For real.
And you can't get rid of it.
Right.
So, but I give a fuck about my family. All of them, like the whole family.
Even the messy ones.
All of them. I give a fuck about. I love them.
Right.
I give a fuck about my friends. Because you don't get a lot of friends often.
Right.
I give a fuck about my businesses. And those things right there, like it's top notch. And I meet friends every day, new friends.
Right.
That I'm starting to get. I love new people.
Right.
I love meeting new people. I think you can have a new friend every day. Like people like, hey, you can't have Now they might not be your best friend,
Right.
but when you care about people, you know what I'm saying, you make people your friends.
Okay. So, what's the realest advice you could give to your 21-year-old self?
Don't be so emotional.
Ooh. I should tell that to my 52-year-old self.
You should.
I should. I think it's different when you're a girl, though, man.
My father used to I've been locked up 3 times, right? I've been
Okay.
shot at 4.
Damn. Okay.
I've been stabbed in the forehead, stabbed here, and a couple other places. And it's all because I got emotional.
Okay.
Well, I could have just walked away, or I could have just been calm down. But when you young, you just feel like you can beat everybody.
Right.
So I would tell my 21-year-old self to calm down and think and don't be so emotional.
So here's the reflective piece. As you reflect on the last 20 years of your career, what's the greatest lesson you've learned in your journey?
Greatest lesson I learned in my journey:
Yep.
treat people good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, don't burn no bridges.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Let's talk about First Mondays.
We'll be wrapping it up with Trojans, Magnums, lifestyles.
It depends on the person usually.
Yeah. Some might irritate you. I don't know. I hate when girls are like, yeah, you want to use a Magnum? My poo-poo can't take Magnums.
Oh, she lying.
I only use sheepskin, lambskin, or real skin.
That's really what they're getting at. When they say I'm allergic, usually that's we just don't have to. That's how they're segueing into it. They just haven't, they didn't want to go all in and be like, hey.
Hey, that's real.
But let's talk about First Mondays.
Okay.
Where can we get that at? Where do
So
they?
First Mondays, every first Monday in Las Vegas at the CMXX Center, your boy Red Grant live. It's the funniest show in Las Vegas. You can go to The Place Vegas on IG, The Place Vegas, our website. You can go to Red Grant on IG and just follow the pages, and you can get your tickets at Eventbrite early all the time. Just hashtag First Mondays comedy. First Monday comedy. Yeah.
And I've been. It's super funny. It really is the funniest.
Shout out to my man Style, ex-Jabberwocky, but he owns that place and he's doing remarkable things at that place.
So what's up next for you with your tour? I mean, I know you're running for mayor of DC right now, so how does that coincide with the comedy as well? Does it conflict, or you're still doing both? Or
I'm doing both right now. But if I do become the mayor of DC, I'm going to stop telling jokes for 2 years.
Okay.
I'm only going to probably run 1 term. I don't know if I can take it. I saw what they did to Obama. His head was like
right.
my shit. 6 months later, that man was all white.
He was all white, looking broke down.
I don't know if I'm really ready right now.
Politics will definitely aid you for sure.
So yeah, I'm I don't know. I might do like Arnold Schwarzenegger and still do movies or something like that. But for the most part, I'm gonna run the city.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Thanks.
And that's about it. Megan Liana here, Grown Folks Table Radio at the place with Red Grant.
Yeah. And she said it's good. She said my name's good. She put the T on my Grant.
Thank you. And I tried to enunciate my words.
Your articulation is good.
I did go to fucking school for this. I shouldn't.
You have a great articulation.
Thank you.
Yes, your tongue will roll.